Okay, so hi everybody. So we're going to have a go at the raven. When you print your raven out, you'll look at the lines and think, oh my goodness, I can't do that. It looks really complicated. But I'm just going to go through some of the little tips to make things a little bit easier. So obviously, here's my printed out raven. I would suggest you do the bigger version. The background is easy. Some of these bits on the bird could be a bit tricky. I've actually done slightly in between because I've just got a canvas that I want to use, but obviously I've joined it all together, and this is my parchment paper all ready to come across. Just hope it's gonna sit down okay. Yep. Just need to fix it underneath. I have got the tape already there. No, I haven't. I've got the tape there. I use this big thick duct tape, we call it here in the UK, gaffer tape. And I do all my work now on the actual box canvas that I'm going to use, because then I know exactly how far I need to go over the edges, and it just keeps it nice and neat and tidy, I find. As you can probably see from some of these lines over here, this is a piece of parchment paper I've already used once. I like to keep things nice and recycled. Like a lot of my fabric, I buy secondhand or cut something up that's going to go to scrap. So, lines. My very first tip is to do the big bits first. So anywhere you've got a large area, do that one first. So I've actually already cut that bit out, save a bit of time, and that's going to sit there. So I'm just going to glue it on, well, stick it on. Okay, and then I've also cut this bit that comes along here. That's that bit. So just need to take that off the back. That's going to go in there, and you can probably see already that I haven't kept to exactly those lines. It's not going to make that much difference. Don't panic if you find that you cut it out and it doesn't look quite the right shape. I'm sure it'll be fine. So we put that bit in, and then I've also cut this bit out. So that's going to go in there. Now you're thinking, gosh, that looks really tricky to get that little bit in there. But actually, you don't need to make it into a tricky bit. All you need to do is draw around the outside of that, so that it comes up like that. You can have a nice big bit that's going to go underneath it, not too difficult to cut out. What is important is that you go back to the colour version, because when you start looking at the colour version, things actually start to look a lot simpler. So if we look at the colour version, unfortunately you've got the light. Got the lights, it's just showing through as well, so it's not actually gonna, can't really see it properly. But if you go back to the colour version, you'll see the bigger areas, and it will make much more sense than if you just look at this. Look at the colour and then go back and go, oh yeah, okay, so that works. So this bit in here I want to be a palish grey. Well, not palish, but I'm going to use this, I think. So all I need to do then is roughly cut that out. Put my scissors down somewhere. And we've got the infamous dog drinking. There we go, there they are. So, in fact, I don't even need to cut that middle bit out. I can just cut round that whole bit. Like that. That's fine. Don't need to do any more to it. Take my backing off. And then just going to tease this up. That can go right underneath. Comes back down again. And that's done. How easy is that? Looks complicated, but it's not. Then, this complicated bit that's running through all the way through here, again, all you need to do is find what you're going to use, which might not be as simple because I hadn't thought that far ahead. Let's grab something. Should we go with that? That's quite nice, isn't it? So I just get my bit of parchment paper again. Make sure it's big enough. And I'm just going to roughly, very roughly, go round the sort of area that I need. Pop it onto my fabric. Don't really want that pinky bit. That's it. That's fine. Cut round very quickly. I just cut half of my pattern off there, didn't I? I just ripped half my pattern off. There we go. Cut it a bit bigger, obviously, because I'm a bit unsure where it was. There we go. That's going to go in there. So all I need to do is make sure I haven't cut it too big, which I have a bit. So I just need to cut a little bit off of the bottom and a little bit off of the top, I think. Still a bit more off the bottom. That should be okay. And then I'm just going to peel all this up. Because it's all overlapped, it will all hold together still. That's going to pop in there. And what looked like a complicated bit just isn't. And then all I've got to do is fill in this little bit here, and I'm just going to find a bit of black, I think, to go in there. No, I won't. I'll find a bit of dark grey. No, I won't. I've got a bit of this very dark blue paisley. So, again, it doesn't have to be cut out carefully because you can just peel it up, slot it under, make sure it fills in that area, and then that's done. How quickly have we got that done? Look really complicated. And it's not. So again, when you come to do this bit, let's do it. So we're going to draw around this because it's a nice big bit. There we go. I do want a black for there. Let's find myself a black. Should have been more organised. There we go, it's just a plain black. Nothing special, just a bit of off-cut from something. Actually, somebody sent me a whole bag of scraps. This is from there. They're a bag maker, and they sent me all their scraps. I make nice use of them. A lot of these bits are already far from there because there was a lot of black in it. Right, so that's cut out. Take off my backing. I just want to cut that edge down a bit because I want to make sure I have got a gap. Yeah, that's fine. This is quite a thick fabric, so it will take a little bit more pressing. There we go. And then my next choice of which bit to do is I'm going to do this bit in here. It's quite a nice big bit. And again, I want some black, but I'll find a different sort of black so that we're keeping up the variety. Just pop it on, make sure I feel like it's the right, yeah, it's fine. Always offer it up, make sure it's going to work. Right, I just want to improve that edge there a bit. Just round it off a little bit. That's better. It's going to go under there. Stick down. And then this, what you'd think would be a tricky bit, now all I've got to do is again draw around. Find what I'm going to use. Really want a really dark grey. Oh, that might work. That'll probably work. Again, I'm not going to bother cutting out the middle. Just see how that sits. That sits really nicely on top of that piece, so I'm going to put it on top. Just going to layer it under these bits. And kind of that's mostly my criteria, what goes on top and what goes under. It's just the way it lays. So that lays really nicely, gives that a nice crisp edge. Quite happy with that. Make sure it's all nicely stuck down. There's not really quite enough gap there, so I'm just going to take a little smidgen off of there to create a nice a nicer space. That's better. Okay, so then we've got what looks like a really tricky bit to cut out, but it's not going to be now, is it? Because we've worked out how to do it. Just need to make sure that our piece is big enough. So that very slim bit that looks hard to cut out is actually going to be quite an easy bit to cut out. Just cut it out with tracing paper and make it a bit easier for you to see. And find what we're going to put in there. Is that dark enough? No. I'm going to have a raid in my drawer. Have I got enough of this? No, can't see how that, no, won't fit on there. What about green? Not so sure about that. That's good, I like that. These are just scraps that I've used time and time before. I have drawers of them. Don't like to waste. I haven't cut that quite right, look. But we'll probably get away with it. And if we haven't, we can always add a little bit in. Right, so that's going to go. How fast have we done that? I mean, it's pretty incredible. Just do a couple more bits. So again, nice big bit. It's a bit much. It's quite cool. It's good, but I'm going to keep to the darker areas. Don't want too much colour just there because I've got quite a lot of colour already there. So just using it on the less patterned bit. That's a nice edge on there, so I'm going to use that. And the trouble is it's going to come up a bit too high. No, it's going to have to go under. So there's quite a pale grey going on in that bit. Use that. Oh, got this. Oh, that's good. That works better. It actually comes right the way up here, so often when I'm pausing is because I'm looking back at my colour picture. It's really important to keep going, referring back to your colour picture. What should we put in there? Should we use that again? It's quite cool. Right, and then this slightly thin, tricky bit that looks tricky, we're just going to come around here again. You do have to cut this bit out, which is a little bit more fiddly. So when you've got a really fiddly bit like that to cut out, what I tend to do is draw it on the wrong side again, so it's nice and clear. I suppose actually, you know what I could do? If I've got paper on the back, I can just trace it onto the back of my, so rather than trying to hold it, could do with a slightly sharper pencil. See if this works. Because I've used pencil on the other side, it should trace through. And then I'll be able to cut it out quite easily. See? Yeah. So you probably can't see it, but I can. So it's round like that. And that means I don't have to hold on to the parchment paper at the same time as trying to cut it, because it can slip quite easily. Just check what I got here. I'm not quite sure the shape's not come quite through. Right. Let me see if it's the right way around. It should be the right way around, shouldn't it? Let's just look. So it's going to go like that. Yeah, it should be. Mathematics are not my thing. So I'll just cut it round roughly. Start off with, makes it easier. Get rid of the bulk of the fabric. It's going to go like that. I am going to lift all of this and put it under, because that's going to give it a nicer finish. And there we go. In half an hour, we've done a good portion of the raven there. 28 minutes, and a lot of that was me just talking nonsense. So you can see you can get it finished much quicker than you imagine, and just think about which bits are easier to cut out, which bits would just be easier just to put a slab behind. I hope that's helped. So bye for now. I'm going to carry on, do a bit more, and then we'll come back, maybe do some of this fencing area. That should be easy, very easy. Okay then, bye for now.